My name is Jonathan Gillum.
And this is The Experts.
This is Jonathan Gillum, and this is The Experts on Facebook Live, Twitter, and YouTube. And I don't think it's going to be any surprise what I'm going to have to say tonight. I'm not going to be on here long. I said I was going to take tonight off, but do yourself a favor. If you're on Twitter, tell all your buddies to watch this. If you're on Facebook, share it with everybody. Tell them to get on right now. And YouTube, I don't know what they're doing. But we need to talk about a few things before I go out and finally have my birthday dinner. So we're going to get started with this real quick. It's going to be a quick show. And I'm going to share my opinions on Bergdahl, on Linda Sarsauer, and Glamour Magazine. And trying to hold my tongue here. But we'll talk a little bit about Antifa real quick. We're going to do all this in about 10 minutes. Won't be a long show. Doesn't need to be. Let's get this thing started. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. I got to maintain some civility about myself because the warrior in me is wanting to come out and say exactly what I feel about Bo Bergdahl, about the judge, Jeffrey Nance, I believe is his name. I'm going to look that up on Twitter because I tweeted that out a little bit ago. But, folks, let's just make no mistakes about this, okay? I am absolutely furious. Colonel Jeffrey Nance is the judge from the DOD, the U.S. Army Colonel Jeffrey Nance. He was the judge presiding over this. Defense attorney was Captain Nina Banks. I believe, and I don't think that there's any, I don't think you can put this many other ways. And some guy that's an attorney tried to come on here and argue with me about this, about whether or not this was malpractice of justice. I mean, I have a lot of other words for it. Treason. I believe this is subversion. People have called me, well, I don't really know, I don't get called a conspiracy theorist a lot because I don't go down rabbit holes where there's not evidence. But I think clearly today we can see a huge, I don't want to say a leap forward. This wasn't a tremendous leap forward, but it was similar to all last year with the campaign process where these people show themselves. Remember, subversive entities do not work in covert manners most of the time. As Yuri Brezhnev put it, the cloak and dagger stuff, the blowing up of bridges and railways and the spy versus spy stuff, that is not as common as you would think. It's more a part of these overt subversive groups doing what they do. And what happened in the Bergdahl case today is that I believe after listening to NPR, I had to take Rico, my dog, to the vet, and so on the way back, the cab driver had NPR on, and one of Bergdahl's attorneys was on there spouting his nonsense, talking about how President Trump was somehow responsible through this because of his I'm trying to think of the wording that he used, but it had to do with his commanding influence, as though that would play a part in a court system that is supposed to remain neutral. There should be no influence of the judge, no influence of the defense attorney or of the prosecutor. The court system is supposed to be neutral. And it is the fact that I heard this person say this on NPR, the fact that NPR talked and asked him a question and said, well, what about the people that were injured? What about the people that died? What about the people that gave their lives and not just injured, have traumatic brain injuries and are in a wheelchair for the rest of their life? They got a life sentence. All those people, they got a life sentence. The people that died looking for him got a death sentence. The people that are injured to the point where they're in a wheelchair for the rest of their lives, they got a life sentence, sentenced to a wheelchair. The people that I know, like the guys that were in the Bergdahl platoon, those individuals are scarred for a lifetime. If you think that it's not going to affect whether or not they believe in the United States Army, the UCMJ, or the overall system, you're kidding yourself. They are injured. The American public is injured. The legal system is injured. And the fact is, this week alone, well, let's say over the past couple of weeks, there's been plenty of evidence to show that Hillary Clinton and her crew that ran the DNC completely colluded in an illegal fashion to win the United States presidency. When she was Secretary of State, she sold her official office for money and to gain money at no matter what the cost, whether it be uranium to our enemies, whether it be people's lives in jeopardy, possibly died or murdered at the hands of not necessarily the Clintons did it, but that whole group of people working together. When we look at Glamour magazine giving Woman of the Year to Linda Sarsour, a Marxist Muslim Brotherhood member who preaches jihad, when we look at the judge and the defense attorney, and quite frankly, I don't know anything about the prosecutor, but what was going on there? When we look at this court case and all these other things that I just pointed out, what are we looking at? Why is it that the media will jump all over? I mean, when they heard that recording of Donald Trump having a private conversation with another guy with locker room talk, saying that, if you're really rich, you can grab a woman by the privates and she won't even say anything, she'll be happy. I don't remember how the exact conversation went. It was a conversation. There was no proof that he ever did that. Any of the allegations that came at the hands of Gloria Allred, a fake attorney, a propagandist, all those things were gone because they didn't have any legs. The media drove those points home and would not get off of that. Hollywood, you got one molester or rapist after another. Now you got the country music publicist offered fans access to singing legends in exchange for oral sex. You got Kevin Spacey, another person coming out saying that he basically sexually assaulted them at 14. You got now they're saying that the NYPD may actually be looking at sexual charges against Weinstein. You got Alec Baldwin, Mr. I want to rave against everybody, saying now that he bullied women and inappropriately touched them in a sexual manner. You have on and on, all these different people. The guy from Mother Jones, the guy that's on MSNBC with no lips, constantly berating Trump for all these things that were never proven. Now they're saying long-standing accounts of him inappropriately sexually touching people at work. The media does nothing about this, says nothing about it, says nothing about Hillary Clinton, says nothing about these people in Hollywood, says very little about the injustice of Bergdahl today. Why? Because I've said it again and again. The media's never even covered Linda Sarsour. They've never even told about the relationship that she has with the Muslim Brotherhood. They don't even know, or they won't talk about the Muslim Brotherhood. And here's the facts, folks. Here's the facts. This judge, this Army judge, Colonel Jeffrey Nance, this defense attorney, Captain Nina Banks, also of the United States Army, these people, the media, Linda Sarsour, great vast majority of these Hollywood freaks, they are all part of the same family tree. That family tree is called communism. It's called globalism. You can call it democratic socialism. You can call it Marxism. Whatever you want to call it. It is organized. It is on the move. And it has subverted every aspect of our lives in one way or another. Wall Street has been subverted by these people. Politics completely taken over for not just now. This has been going on since the early 1900s. I would even say the end of the 1800s. Hollywood completely subverted. The people that like Ashley Judd, who come out and try to say things about Weinstein as though she's now a victim. She had all this time to come out. Is no different than Donna Brazile, who said that Hillary Clinton and the DNC were criminally colluding to take away all the power from the open election of the Democratic Party, and they stole it from Bernie Sanders. Now she's going to say that. Now she's got a book deal out. She's no different than the rest of them. All these people, they belong to a leftist, not even liberal. They're not even liberal. These are leftist. These people are leftist. They hate this country. They hate freedom. They hate the Second Amendment. They hate the First Amendment, except for when they want to utilize it. They hate cops, except when they expect them to show up and save them. They love Muslims. They talk about Islam all the time as though it's so great. Yet Muslims and Islam are responsible for more deaths around this world, more terror around this world than any other group of people in history, with the exception of communism, which they are part of. What has happened is this country has been completely subverted at this level. And the middle class, the same group that's going to get screwed in these taxes, the same group that gets screwed in every other aspect of life because they're not dependent. You think poor people in this country, I'm talking about real poor people that live in the housing projects and never move out, the people that are on welfare for eternity. I'm not talking about people who are born in poverty and have nothing to do about it. I'm not talking about people who fell on hard times and lost their job. I'm talking about people that live their entire lives in dependency of this country. That's true poverty. Other people have a decision. They have to make their way through life. That's life. It's a challenge, and many of them rise to the occasion. But the people that live in the housing projects for generation after generation, that raise their kids there and then their kids live there, that they're all on welfare, those people and the people up here, the ruling elite, they like to call themselves, the media people that call themselves the fifth estate or the fourth estate. These people have subverted every aspect of our lives. And the only people that are suffering is the middle class, the vast majority of people in this country. We're told you can't say this and we can say whatever we want. That's what the ruling elite and all these leftists want to say. You can't say what you want, but they must be able to be allowed to say whatever they want. You cannot break the law. You can't break your non-disclosure agreement if you're in the military. You can't go against or divulge secrets or leak secrets. You'll go to jail. They break their non-disclosure agreements. They leak information. They do whatever they want and they never get punished for it. If Bo Bergdahl was a confessed conservative, he would be going to prison right now. But Bo Bergdahl is some kind of fruitcake who fell over and, listen, don't give me this if you're an attorney. Don't even go down the road that the defense attorney did her job, which was to present a case to get her client off. Bo Bergdahl pleaded guilty. And what she did is what defense attorneys all over this country do. They then craft a case, not based on guilt or innocence. They craft a case based on getting their client off. And that is a malpractice of justice. I don't believe that the founding fathers, nor Moses, who our legal system was based upon, I don't care what atheists think, our legal system was based on the Judeo-Christian laws of Moses. When a defense attorney takes a case, and then they craft that case in such a way that the truth is not known, like, for instance, saying that this guy has schizophrenic behavior, I've talked to a ton of his platoon mates. I just got a message from somebody a while ago that said they had to sign a non-disclosure agreement so they couldn't reveal the reality of who Bergdahl was. None of those people are saying that he's schizophrenic. But yet the defense will go out and get a psychologist who we know that whole group of people have been subverted as well, and the psychologist will say whatever they want. And the very fact that the defense brought up President Trump shows me that they are under the same narrative, the same dialogue, the same lies, the same communistic, globalistic, free, quote-unquote, free society tirade as the rest of these people, as the media, as Hollywood, as all these other politician leftists. It is complete. They have completely subverted us. Education, subverted. You're not seeing realistic things taught in school. You're not taught about your rights in school. You're not taught about sexual education in a way that shows people how to be responsible. They teach sexual education as though they're trying to teach people how to have good sex. You don't see education system teaching about our history, about our civics. No, you see social studies. You see liberal, leftist, academic programs being pushed on children, on young adults. That's just the educational sector. The court system has completely failed us. The media is fake. It's completely fake. Hollywood is made up of liars and hypocrites that will go out and have movies where they're having sex. Then they'll go and say movies like they're having sex and shooting everybody. Then they're going to come back and say, I support abortion. I don't support the death penalty, and you can't have the Second Amendment. They're a bunch of hypocritical, uneducated liars. And they are all part of the same globalistic mentality, the same communistic mentality, the same democratic socialistic mentality. And we have completely been subverted in this country. So I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go eat. America, I'm glad I was born in this country. I was born free, but I was born poor. I never took my freedom for granted at all. Not ever. I couldn't. If I took my freedom for granted, and I was raised in a home with all of women. My father left and died very early in my age. He left when I was 9. I was with him when he died when I was 13 years old. I watched him deteriorate and die in front of me. I sat there and opened his eyes and looked into his eyes and saw that nothing was there. I knew there was more to this life that I was given than just having and being noticed, and more than just me. I knew God already. But I also knew at that young age, because I had nothing, I knew that in order to truly be free, I had to earn my freedom, not take it for granted. I saw that it wasn't going to be given to me. And I always wondered, when I saw people that were comfortable with their children having rotten teeth and being on welfare, I always wondered, how could these people be comfortable? Are they free? No, they're slaves. They're slaves to the government dollar, to our taxpayer dollars. I was never raised to think like that. I love this country. I'm glad I was born free. But folks, we've been taking our freedom for granted for too long. The only difference that separates those poor people who have rotten teeth and live off the dole and you is the fact that they're comfortable in it. But you yourself, you are dying of a cancer called comfort. The fact that every single person that heard this news today isn't completely outraged and doing something like I'm doing right now is an abomination to our freedom. You don't have to be in the military to fight this. In fact, the military is not going to fight it. It's completely subverted. Law enforcement's not going to fight it because they don't want to lose their jobs. I'm here to tell you, cops that are out there, federal agents, there's going to come a time when you're going to have to choose. Are you going to shoot this person because they're out there doing they're trying to save their country? Are you going to put them in jail? Or are you going to support the Antifa weirdos? You're going to support these Hollywood weirdos and keep your mouth shut? Remember, doing nothing is the same as supporting those people. And I'm telling you, I've had talks with several people today that are veterans, and they're sickened to their stomach. Cops that are sickened to their stomach. But I'm telling you, the rest of you that are out there, cops, military, former military, you better get ready. You better get on board, because what you saw happen with Bergdahl is a spit in your face, and it is pure subversion. Why do you think Hillary Clinton got off? The same reasons why Bergdahl did. I'm seeing somebody said that there's maybe some reports that Hillary Clinton somebody in the Clinton campaign may be charged. We'll see. Doesn't mean anything. Bergdahl was charged. Look what happened to him. The fact is, all these people are treasonous. They're traitors to this country. They're traitors to your freedom. They're trying to sell your freedom while you sit home comfortable doing nothing. You have to realize freedom is something that you must be awake, and from time to time you must earn it. I talked to a guy in the cab on the way over. He's from Africa. He was from Ethiopia. He lived and escaped a communist regime. You know what he said? It's going to happen faster than people can even expect it, even prepare for it, if they don't wake up. I just had this conversation 20 minutes ago with a guy that escaped a communist country. Never met him before in my life. Do you realize it's happening? Do you realize what's going on? If you sit there comfortable tonight and you go out and you eat, I'm going to go eat in a little while, but I'm not going to be comfortable. I'm not paranoid. I'm pissed. And I'm fully aware of what's happening in this country. If you sit there tonight and you drink your beer, you have your fun, you go out dancing and laugh, you better realize tomorrow Antifa's threatening us that they're going to overthrow this country and our president. You better realize that's no joke. They're a joke. But the fact is, they are a part of a bigger thing. They are a part of a bigger group. And that threat is coming from them, but it's being lobbed by all these people. You better wake up. Because here's what's going to happen. If even one person gets killed tomorrow by one of these Antifa freaks, it's your fault. If these people go and destroy a bunch of property tomorrow, it's your fault. Bergdahl got off. Listen to me on this. Bergdahl got off on these charges because of you. Hillary Clinton and that whole monstrosity of sexual molesters or pedophiles like Anthony Weiner and Bill Clinton and the rest of those people came to power because of you. Don't blame it on anybody else. It's because of you, the American people. Not that you wanted them there, but you allowed it to happen because you're afraid to live, you're afraid to die. You're afraid to fight. And you will not unify because your own freaking egos get in the way, and you all think, I deserve this. I deserve this comfort. You don't deserve a thing. This country deserves nothing. The citizenry deserves nothing. The founding fathers were the only ones that deserved it. They fought for it. The veterans that go off and serve and fight and swear to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, they deserve it. But even they have fallen asleep. And if this happens and they sleep through it, it's their fault too. I literally am speechless today. Rocked to my core. I'm going to give you one final warning. Take these threats seriously. Not that I think Antifa or those guys are going to do anything tomorrow, but take the threats seriously. As I constantly tell people, don't think that it's not possible. Any of it's possible. Are the numbers there? Are the numbers, the probability numbers that something's going to happen tomorrow up there? It may be low, but it's always possible. Is subversion possible? It's happening. Yes, it's possible. Is your comfort possibly going to blind you, or has it blinded you from seeing reality? Yes, it's possible. And if you take a step back and look at it, you'll see that's the reality. Remember, Freedom is fragile. Right? Freedom must be defended. And it's as fragile as drywall, where you can punch your hand straight through it. But you know what is like marble that's hard as a rock, and if you punch it, you're going to break your hand? That is the people and the will of the people that are free. But if they don't have any will to sustain that, if they don't have any fight in their heart, then it's no different than sitting down and allowing people to run right over you and punch through the drywall and steal your freedom. You are the barrier, the watcher on the wall. You are the supporter of freedom. You don't have to be in the military. This country was founded in a way that you would be the watchers, that you would be the protectors, that you would be the one that supports and defends the Constitution. But you have given it away to veterans and to cops and to politicians, and you sit back and you take the word of liars, you take the word of actors, you take the word of uneducated, nefarious, narcissistic psychopaths. You are the ones that have failed this country. And until you realize that and you start banding together, 10 here, 100 there, 1,000, 1,000,000, until you do that, this country is going to continue to teeter over the edge. So remember that. I was supposed to go out. I'm going to go out and eat here in a minute. I delayed it for the sheer fact that I hope you share this message with people. I hope that you all realize you can sit here and get pissed about what you see on the news, but it's your fault. You, the people. Not necessarily one individual, but the people. And let me tell you, somebody just wrote on Twitter, Lord, protect us. The Lord already gave you the ability to protect yourself, but he will not get in the way of your own demise, your own self-imposed demise. I tell this to people all the time that are going down into Central South America on missions with churches, and they have no security plan. And they say, well, I think God will protect us. Bullcrap. God gave you a mind. He gave you the ability to think and to pre-plan security before you go down there, and to know and educate yourself on what to watch for. Showing up and hoping and praying that God takes care of you, that is not a security plan. And it's the same here. The Lord has helped us. He raised us and allowed us to be born, and some of us moved to a free country. You are an American citizen. If you don't stand up and start taking care of yourself, you are already a slave. I'm Jonathan Gillum. You better take this warning seriously, or else there will be no tomorrow. No free tomorrow. I'll see you all on Monday. I'm taking the weekend off. No more ranting. My buddy Rico is over there asleep. You are the answer. You're also the failures. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it any more than that. I'm Jonathan Gillum. This is The Experts. The truth has arrived. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.